Hi guys, welcome back to another Bourbon Santa video. Today we're going to review a rye. This one is Duke Double Barreled Founders Reserve Rye. Now, on the label it says rye whiskey finished in Grand Cru French oak. But it also says double barreled. So I had to look into that to see what they were talking about. So it appears that they took and aged the Duke Founders Reserve Silver Label bourbon in these French oak Californian Chardonnay casks. So they aged the bourbon for however long, took the bourbon out, and then put in the rye and aged their rye in the same barrels, which is a brilliant money-saving, money-making idea. But how does it affect the whiskey? Let's find out. Okay, so minor technical difficulties. My previous camera broke last week, and I had already shot this review. As you can see, I've had a little bit of this, and I lost it. I lost that review, I lost a blind flight, I lost a couple other videos, and a lot of pictures. So I'm reshooting this. So I already know that this stuff is fantastic. All of those notes that you can sometimes find in a rye that are similar to bourbon really show up here. Excuse me. I don't know if it's because of the double-barreled situation or if their rye just has a lot of caramel and brown sugar and cherry and vanilla in it, but the notes that I get on this rye are way more like bourbon than like rye. The rye is there. It's absolutely there, and it's definitely more rye than, say, a high rye bourbon or a bull rye. You can tell this is rye, but there's all of these really amazing bourbon notes hanging out with it. And I know you guys know that I'm not much of a rye guy, but I think I like this even better than the Duke Founders Reserve bourbon, which I love, which is wonderful. So, pretty shocking. Really nice evergreen note. It just transports me to somewhere else. Puts me up in the mountains, in the woods, trees all around. But then there's all this really nice butterscotch and vanilla, caramel, maybe a little bit of syrup. It's decadent. This is a dessert rye. You get a bit of a cherry cola note on the right in the middle of your tongue. Almost Werther's Original. There's no big spiky rye notes. They're super calm from the finishing. Super calm. It's just beautiful. There's a nice peppery note at the back of the palate, but it's not spiky like rye can get, but it's a nice pepper. And then that pepper kind of moves back around to the very front of the tongue. Oh. That's amazing. It's a gorgeous rye. Perfectly finished. Very nicely done. Very nicely done. Whew. But when I got this bottle, I got another bottle. I got the Duke regular white label bourbon, which is a 5-year-old bourbon. Green River Distilling. So theoretically, this is the same bourbon that's in the Founders Reserve finished product. Now, it may be different, but for argument's sake, it should be pretty much the same stuff. Same distillate anyway. Maybe younger than that. And this, I don't love this. It's weird. There's a little bit of a plasticky kind of chemical note that I also found on the Pinhook, interestingly enough. It's not exactly the same note, but very, very similar. The similarities outweigh the disparities. It's not in love with this. This, I don't know, I'm hoping it's going to open up, but I'm just not in love with that. So for Duke products, so far I've had the Founders Reserve Bourbon and the Founders Reserve Rye, which both of those I really, really like. So not in love with the lower end Duke release. Now there's a store here that has an older release of Duke that has John Wayne on the label, and I'm gonna go grab one of those just to try it, just out of curiosity's sake, and see how it compares to the white label, and you know, if it has anything interesting going on. So look for that in an upcoming video. Anyway, that's it for today. Thanks for watching. Until next time, have a great day.